on a rickshaw.
A rickshaw is the three-wheeler automobile which you would have seen in Prasanthi, Nilayam, which takes you from one end to the other. Many of you would know it as a tuk-tuk. Why I am saying that, my life on a rickshaw, is because we had this awareness class when I was an MBA student, and one of the concepts which was discussed was everyone's life is like a journey on an auto rickshaw, the spiritual life. It runs on three wheels. The wheel of karma marga, or the path of action, the path of jnana or knowledge, and last but not the least, the path of bhakti, bhakti marga, or the path of devotion. The usual concept was a saint or a spiritual person takes any one of the paths. Either one is jnana margi, or the one takes the path of knowledge and knowledge only, or knowledge of the path of action, or path of devotion. But that was not the case what Bhagwan had taught. Bhagwan said that in everybody's life, all the three paths work, but it just works at different times. And that is what I would like to share, how Bhagwan from time to time has been molding these three wheels. Now yes, for somebody where the devotion is dominant, that is indicated by the front wheel, which in my case was the Bhakti Marga when I was a student. The reason why I say is, as a student, when I would do bhajans or do Namasmarana or just look at Swami's video, there was an intense feeling that I would get. I cannot really give or explain to you in various words, but if I have to give an allegory as to what that feeling is, that feeling was something expansive here. Okay, it is strong but yet subtle, something expansive. You feel something expanding and slowly spreading. Something is enveloping you. That was that intense feeling. Okay, it was something like a drop of ink in water, spreading slowly and steadily throughout. Okay, so therefore, since it was because I would do, say, bhajans or something like that, I felt for me, bhakti was the predominant wheel, or the wheel which is dominant and right in front. I passed out. I started pursuing my career, and slowly got into a married life, and from a student, I was an ex-student. But what I realized is that even then, when I started involving in these bhajans and namasmarana and all that, that intense feeling vanished. So and so that it was like my water puddle had no ink. I got afraid. For me, it was like I have gone away from Swami. I don't have love for Swami anymore. Why is it happening? How much ever I would try to concentrate, I did not get that intense feeling. Well, I got involved in the Sathya International Organization, started getting into the service activities that the organization was taking up, and realized that as I involved in the seva activities, I started getting that intense feeling again. I would work with my brothers and sisters on a certain activity, and suddenly I would feel that expansive feeling. Brothers and sisters, the drop of ink was back in my heart. Well, the important thing to note is that Swami, in his own way, ensured that the front wheel changed from bhakti to karma. Knowingly or unknowingly, for me, the front wheel changed to karma marga. That is the action. When I would do some seva activity, I would get that instant feeling. But as a student, it was when I would sing bhajans. So brothers and sisters, that is what happens when Bhagwan takes care of our spiritual life. We don't have to worry. We don't have to really intensely think What is it that I have to do? Should it be Bhakti Marga, the path of devotion, or should it be path of action? Swami himself, in his own way, based upon circumstances, takes care of that aspect. And that is when hands that serve are holier than the lips that pray had a new meaning for me. But well, now that the action wheel was in front, well, being a youth, you have that energy and enthusiasm, right? That I would want to be James Bond, like kind of a guy on an auto rickshaw, full of action, adrenaline, drama, and all that stuff. But unfortunately, the reality is, whatever we may imagine that I would want to do, the reality in life is something like this. A mundane traffic, this one. A mundane traffic life. Our life is like this, not that of a James Bond where the auto rickshaw would go flying somewhere or we would be punching something, or that sort of. It is something frustrating, something mundane, something regular. The difficulty of that is we struggle to find motivation even though the karma path or the karma wheel, the action wheel is in front. It requires motivation, the acceleration. I had a dream in which Swami is seated on a chair and I'm saying to Swami, Swami, if I'm doing any mistake, you just come slap me, hit me on the back, do what you want, Swami, correct me then and there, right? And suddenly Swami smiles and he says, no, find your own motivation. Find your own motivation, brothers and sisters. That was the biggest task for me. The actual wheel is front, motivation is missing, and I have to find my own motivation. How do I do it? I turn towards Swami. And I had an epiphany kind of an experience which helped me to find that motivation. And obviously, as I said, that Bhagwan helped me. How did he help me? He got the knowledge wheel in front. And I would like, instead of explaining what it is, let me share that experience, that epiphany with you. I would request all of you to just hold the hand of the person sitting next to you. Please, close your eyes, put both your feet on the ground and just feel the ground under your feet. Brothers and sisters, now imagine your parents right across the globe. They too must be standing or sitting somewhere and their feet is touching this same ground. It is touching the same Mother Earth. Just feel that. Brothers and sisters, what a tangible way to connect to all of us in this world. The moment we step on the Mother Earth, she connects all the beings, living or non-living. Satyam, right? I request you to open your eyes now. Leave your hand. Brothers and sisters, this is the tangible proof that we are interconnected. We are connected. And what is Mother Earth? And who are we? Mother Earth is like any mother, and we are those infants in a womb, instantly connected with the umbilical cord. She's pulsating with the energies of maybe how many avatars who have come. She's pulsating with the energy of that cosmic energy that led to her creation. And we are instantly connected with her as soon as we step. What is the important point here is that when this entire connection, instant connection is there, we have to realize that we are also connected to Bhagwan. And He is giving us that energy to do our action, and realize that divine love in our hearts. Brothers and sisters, I would request you to remember that divine love, that divine connection, that instant connection, and would pray to Bhagwan that we live in that moment. Thank you very much. Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, brothers and sisters, another round of applause for Brother Chetan. He shared how important it is to know our personal spiritual path, and that it does not matter if we emphasize bhakti, jnana, or karma, as each is interlinked and integral for us on our spiritual journeys. Thank you, brother, for the visualization which brought that awareness that everyone is connected, and we can remember this every time we walk on Mother Earth. Our next speaker followed her path of karma and jnana under the direct guidance of Bhagwan, and she will show how important it is for us all to connect to our inner voice. Sister Veena Sri Anandaraja obtained her Bachelor of Arts in Communication, majoring in Political Science and Sociology, and also a Bachelor of Laws with first-class honors. She presently works as an international legal counsel for a Fortune 500 company in its Sydney office. Sister Veena came into the Sai fold at the age of 13. She has also been involved with local interfaith work, soup kitchens, and has overseen regional offerings. Sister Veena was the former National Youth Co-Coordinator for Australia, and she currently serves as a Zone 3 Youth Coordinator. She also serves as a facilitator for the Sathya Sai International Youth Leadership Program. Sai Ram, brothers and sisters, Sister Veena.
Om Sai Ram. My loving pranams at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Dear respected elders, my fellow sisters and brothers, Sai Ram to you all. It is my honor to share with you all today some of my most precious moments with our beloved Swami. Like many of you gathered here, I live in a country far, far away in Australia. My relationship with our beloved Swami has been a heart-to-heart connection from a very young age. I first saw the transformative effect of Swami's influence on my father. Slowly, it spread to the rest of my family, and I fell in love with the universal and simple nature of Swami's teachings. I really saw the amazing effect of Swami in my life when it came to school. You see, for the longest time, I had two burdens that I carried. One was the label of being a very poor student. I mean bottom of the class material. And secondly, because of my poor academic performance, I had terribly low self-esteem. In the midst of all this, we had migrated from the Middle East to Australia. The culture clash was immediate. I found it very hard to settle into my new homeland. Around about this time, we were blessed to encounter a wonderful local Sai Center, the Homebush Sai Center. Little by little, my self-confidence and my academic performance started to improve. I found myself actually listening and practicing what I learned in Bal Vikas. I found that my concentration dramatically improved when I practiced Jyoti or light meditation and when I started chanting the Gayatri mantra regularly. I even developed the self-confidence to navigate difficult subjects and even the dreaded exams. Most importantly now, I realize the greatest habit I developed at that time was speaking to Swami more and more and more and relying on him for his guidance and protection. Around the age of 16, I was still a below average student, and I was facing my first ever statewide board examinations. I was really nervous and stressed out. One night, I had a dream that I was sitting in an empty courtyard. I had a stack of books in front of me, all nice and neat and closed. They've probably never been opened. And there I was sitting in front of those books, eyes pressed tight, praying to the Lord, please God, let me do well in my exams. Suddenly, my beloved Swami appeared. He walked up to me and very lovingly grumbled, get up. I was shocked. I opened my eyes, but I couldn't get up. I was just in too much shock. Swami once more said, get up. I still did not stand up. The loving Lord bent down, grabbed me by my arms, yanked me up, and stood me on my feet. He then said, open the books. Once more he said, open the books. From that one experience, I learned a couple of facts for life. God hears our prayers. God answers our prayers. But after he gives the answer, guess what? You have to take action. You actually have to follow through. So, it was clear to me that I was praying really, really well, but I wasn't necessarily studying really, really well. So I started to become more diligent and consistent in my academic efforts. By the time I got to year 12, which is the final year in high school, just before university, I was an average student at best, sometimes a little above average. Now by this time, I had nurtured the desire to study law. And getting into law, where I study, requires an overall mark of 98 out of 100 or above. For an average student, that seemed a pretty ludicrous goal. However, there were two sincere reasons I had this goal. It was not for personal aggrandizement. It was for the glory of my Swami. I wanted people to look at me and never see Veena, but to see a poor student who suddenly became a good lawyer. It was a desire I never shared with anyone because it was so ludicrous. Secondly, my parents, my family, have made tremendous sacrifices to give us a good quality of life. It's not easy migrating to a Western country when they grew up in a humble village in Sri Lanka. Out of respect and gratitude to them, I wanted to succeed and bring good name to my family. So, what to do? By the grace of God, the idea dawned on me. Let me undertake a personal sadhana plan. What did it consist of, you ask? I did not watch any TV at all for 12 months. I sacrificed all my time with my friends, and I would take home exam papers and answer all the unanswered questions, for example, multiple choices of essay questions, and then I would bring them back to my teachers, who very patiently marked my essays. At this juncture, I was getting perhaps 15, 16 out of 20, which still is not good enough to get the marks I needed. I kept persevering. During this time, I could see and feel the hand of God guiding my thoughts through my conscience and intuition. People came into my life who helped me study, and the regular attendance of Sai Center helped me persevere with my sadhana plan. A lot of parents actually stopped their children from going to Sai Center in year 12 because they wanted to let their children study. I did the polar opposite. Just when things started to make progress, tragedy struck. My friend's father suddenly passed away from a heart attack a few weeks before our exams. And then my father was in a life-threatening accident. I knew in that moment that I had a choice to rely on Swami and to be strong, or be overwhelmed by the circumstances and give up. By Swami's grace again, I chose the first. My father survived and recovered, and I continued to study diligently. Eventually, the exams finished, and I'm happy and grateful to say that I graduated with a score that automatically qualified me for legal studies. I not only got the requisite score, but I was listed on the state honors roll. One of my most prized moments was the look of joy on my father's face when he read my name several times in the local newspaper. I remember he highlighted each reference. And as a parent, you can only imagine how much joy he must have felt. The skills that I developed during this time, this intimate relationship with Swami, actually resulted in me even graduating law with first-class honors. This is a student who was told by her English teacher, please don't bother trying, perhaps stick to maths and science. I stand today before you, an international legal counsel for a Fortune 500 company. I have been invited by government and industry bodies to advise on how to develop better laws, how to interpret new laws, and how to better frame regulatory policy. Not too many years ago, brothers and sisters, I was an academic write-off. I did not have the confidence to even look someone in the eyes. I will always be grateful to my Swami and my family for this profound transformation in character and the many, many blessings I have received. I wanted to share this journey with you because it taught me that when you have a personal relationship with God, one that transcends time, distance, and even failings and weaknesses in our character, anything is possible. Once in an interview with Swami, he was asking us, tell me questions, ask me questions. I was stunned and in bliss. I had no questions to ask. I just had one thought, Bhagavan. What is the role of destiny and fate? Do we have a say? That was the thought in my head. Just then, Swami uttered with utmost clarity, your thoughts determine your future. As the saying goes, life without God is a hopeless end. Life with God is an endless hope. I would like to leave you with my final sharing. A relationship with God is like any other relationship. It takes two to tango. It is a two-way street. We need to take the time and invest in our inner connection with God and make it a priority. Swami has beautifully said that he is the humble servant who eternally waits at the door to our spiritual heart, waiting for us to let him in. Will we not welcome him usher him to his rightful place in the throne of our hearts? I pray that each of us commits deeply to this sacred relationship and enjoys every step of the journey with Swami. Jai Sai Ram.
On how life is more meaningful when we overcome our fears with unflinching faith in God. Thank you for sharing that inspirational quote that life without God is a hopeless end. Life with God is an endless hope. Indeed, Swami once said, "I shall be with you wherever you are, guarding you and guiding you. March on, have no fear." How many of you have ever received a present from Swami and kept it safe and treasured it? Surely you have. Our next speaker from India, Sister Gayatri Akela, shares how Bhagwan shows his presence, especially when we have doubts. Gayatri is an architect by profession from a prestigious institution. She has successfully designed and executed several central government projects and prestigious institutional buildings. She currently works for a leading design firm in Hyderabad. Sister Gayatri believes she's been fortunate to come into Swami's fold. Her family have been blessed with several personal interviews and close interactions with Swami in the 60s and 70s. She's been associated with the Sai Mahela Youth for about 2 years now, and she actively volunteers in many service activities in Shivam, Hyderabad. Let us welcome Sister Gayatri.
I offer my loving pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Swami and a warm Sairam to all of you. So once right across this auditorium, in that sacred mandir, there was a group in the interaction with Swami in an interview. And one of the members asked, "Swami, I'm so lucky and I must have done so many good deeds in my previous birth that I'm right in front of you here today." To which Swami, with an ever-loving smile, replied, "Are Pichivada, oka janma kadura, konni vandaladi janmala sukrutam nuvu na mundu kurchununnavu." Which means, silly fellow, it's not just the good deeds of your previous birth, but thousands of births that has given you this opportunity to be here today. Having said this, I can't even estimate how blessed I am to be in the immediate presence of Swami, in his abode, in midst of blessed people like you. How blessed I am to represent the youth of my country and to share a few experiences with you. Now, our bonding with Bhagwan has not been a recent one, and I'm fortunate that I'm born into that family that was associated with Bhagwan for about 5 decades now. But somehow Swami kept me at a distance, and it's only in the last 2 years that I've actually been associated with the Sai Mahila Youth Hyderabad and have been actively taking part in the organizational activities. And I strongly feel that Swami has brought me into this group to draw me more closer to him. And in order to do this, he blessed me in 4 different ways. First, he gave me satsang. He weaved me with a lot of like-minded sisters in the group from whom I could learn so many things and I could share so many things. Then he gave me the ability to do satkarma, the different kinds of service activities I was doing. And for every activity we did, we had small lessons, precious takeaways, and sometimes even touching incidents. And through all of these, I could expand my sadbhavana. And these 3 collectively gave me santrupti, satisfaction. So satsang, satkarma, sadbhavana, santrupti, these are the 4 aspects that are helping me to reinforce my connection with Sai. And after 1.5 years of my association with the organization, I was asked to give an interview in Radio Sai, briefing about the different activities taken up by the Mahila Youth of Hyderabad. Though I was thrilled on one hand, I really thought to myself if I was the right person to do it. But it dawned on me a little later that Swami is giving me this opportunity to take me forward or to make me learn something, and I humbly accepted it. But considering this was the first time I was facing an interview, I was really nervous. And that too, since it was on a radio side, I was really nervous. And then I made my preparation the previous night, and in spite of it, next day at the recording, I was dumbstruck. And even as I started talking, I was trembling, I lost my pitch, and overall, it didn't go to my satisfaction. But our loving Radio Side team was kind enough that they agreed to re-record it the next day. But this time, after some contemplation, I recollected things that I read and heard about Swami's devotees giving long speeches and sometimes even subject lectures without having a clue of what they have to speak about. And they always said it was Swami who was speaking through them. Though I believed in this phenomena, I really wondered if this could happen with me. And now I was desperate to experience this. So next day, I went to the interview with a blank mind. And before the recording, I made my strongest prayers to Swami to be with me and to speak through me. And with these thoughts, I proceeded for the interview. And as the recording began, it just went on okay, till a minute or so. But thereon, it was just amazing. And now I had less control over what I was speaking anymore. There were questions, there were answers, there were narrations, and there were barely any retakes or pauses. And now I could clearly feel that it was not me who was speaking, but the inner side. Brothers and sisters, this is the honest feeling that I wanted to share with you all, that when you surrender to Sai, you need not fear anymore, and He'll take care of you. I don't want to overshoot the time, but before I conclude, I would like to narrate one special incident that I experienced last year. So it has been traditional in Shivam that for every workshop we conduct, we give away small mementos with Swami's picture and message on it as a takeaway to the participants as well as organizers. So for one of these workshops, I received a memento with a beautiful Swami's picture on it, and below read a message, "You do my work, I'll do your work." I was overwhelmed to receive this message because I thought that this was Swami's reply to some of the questions I had in my mind at that time. And I felt assured that Swami is going to take care of me and protect me. After a few months, similarly, for another workshop, I received another memento. And this time, the message was on love. I felt happy to receive it, but I had a passing thought in my mind that Swami, was the message I received last time, "You do my work and I'll do your work," was this really your reply to me or a simple coincidence? Later I forgot about it. I took the memento, placed it on the pedestal below Swami's chair in Shivam. I prayed for a while and I left home. And after going home, to my biggest surprise, when I took the memento out of my purse, I felt euphoric because now the message was not about love. Because now the message on it was yet again, "You do my work and I'll do your work." Can you imagine that in a span of just 30 minutes, Bhagwan played his divine game? And Swami, in his invincible style, proved me wrong and showed to me clearly that this was not a coincidence, but this was a coincidence. Brothers and sisters, this is the beautiful message that I wanted to share with you all, that let's come together and do Swami's work and be rest assured that He'll do our work and He'll take care of us. Swami always said that service is the highest spiritual discipline. Prayer, meditation, bhajan, knowledge of scripture cannot help you reach God as faster as service can. I pray to Swami that He gives us abundant opportunities to do His service. And before I conclude, one of the elder brothers of Hyderabad youth once asked Swami that, "Swami, what is the easiest way to reach you?" To which Swami, with an benevolent smile, replied, "Love all, serve all." And with these few words, I would like to wrap my talk, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity. Jai Sai Ram.
Om Sai Ram. Sister Gayatri, your share reminded us how Bhagavan connects with us and sends us messages to ensure that we know He is with us and watching over us. Swami said, "You do my work, and I will do yours." And I believe there is no doubt that He will always carry us. Swami said, "More than listening to 100 lectures or delivering them, offering one act as genuine service attracts the grace of God." We will now play a short video which shows how our Sai communicates with motherly love to his devotees. Sai Ram. From South Africa, Brother Kurveshan Parmal depicts the understanding that Sai is ours, and this eternal connection with Bhagavan requires that we follow the Master, face the devil, fight to the end, and finish the game. The goal of this journey is love. Brother Kurveshan is establishing an interest in the field of electronic engineering and has been helping the audiovisual team of the festival. Kurveshan cherishes being a devotee of Swami and wishes to apply Swami's teachings to solve the problems we face in the world through higher thinking and transformation of the heart. Brother Kurveshan recently graduated the Sri Sathya Sai Youth Leadership Program 2016. Dear brothers and sisters, let us all welcome Brother Kurveshan.
Om Sai Ram, dearest elders, brothers and sisters. Before I begin, I have a confession to make. Something which I haven't shared with many, but being here amongst everyone, I feel it's okay for me to share. 3 years ago, when a sister from our Sai Center had asked me, "Kurveshan, do you believe that Sai Baba is God?" My reply back to her, in a very obnoxious manner, was no. Sorry. I had called him out to a challenge, and I didn't have a clue what I had just done. Recalling a very special moment, most dear to me, was my very first calling to Prasanthi Nilayam, the abode of highest peace. It occurred on a beautiful evening during the global Akhanda Bhajan. I was seated for bhajans at the Sai Center back home. At that time, being very disturbed and questioning everything I thought I knew about life and everywhere which I assumed that happiness could be found. And at that moment, when I looked up, I saw a picture displayed on the screen. It was an image of inside the Sai Kulwant Hall. The view you get when seated on those black granite floors, yes. And for me, this was the first time I had ever seen the site before. It felt so real. It felt like I had been there before. At that point, I had this immense feeling of wanting to be there. I had to be there. It was my duty to be there, I said to myself. The request was made. Swami lovingly reminds us, I readily give you what you want, so that one day you may want what I have come to give you. By His divine will, and in a manner only He could orchestrate, I was blessed with the great fortune of visiting Prasanthi Nilayam. In January 2014, I arrived here with a heart yearning for something not known to me, and a mind filled with so many questions. The beauty of His glory which met me was overwhelming and scary at the same time. Scary because it was a feeling which I had never experienced before. That evening, we waited in the line for darshan. When I saw the curtain of the Mahasamadhi being drawn back, I immediately felt a huge relief, a relief within of bondage and grief. The curtain of my illusion was also removed that evening. I had fallen in love, swept into a divine romance, one which felt so familiar, so safe, so real. I knew then that after great difficulty, I finally reached the part of my journey where I had discovered that which my heart had longed so long for. I was always His. And with the thought of that, I was mesmerized by the grandeur and splendor of His unconditional love. Who was I to think that I had owned all the sorrow and sadness which I burdened my life with? I knew I was home. All the anguish and worry was taken away, left at His lotus feet, and replaced with just one word repeated constantly in my mind: Sai. Dearest brothers and sisters, Bhagavan's love for us is greater than that of 1,000 mothers. 1,000 mothers! How can we be deserving of such love? To that, Bhagavan has beautifully said, if you love me, you deserve me. I came, I saw, Sai conquered. Dearest brothers and sisters, I thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share this moment with you and wish you an abundance of divine love. Jai Sai Ram.